Hey guys, Casual Chrono here. So I've been playing a little more with the manifestations situation here, the weapon tempering, weapon discovery, and let me get off of this screen, looking at no-pow and all that kind of stuff. So, I was going to say offline, technically I'm online, but I guess off video, I started dabbling with Hismena's mystery. And where's history? I'm still getting used to the user interface here. I decided trying to do all the pledges right off the bat was just too difficult. So I used my regular wind team and swapped out Tomei for Hismena. And I did manage to win within 10 turns. So what I'm going to do is try to recreate that right now. I honestly don't remember what order I did skills or whatever, but I did manage to win one pledge. I've always said on my channel, I'm not like an ultimate super expert hardcore player. I just like another Eden, like many of you. I happen to have a lot of characters. I don't have all of them. I do not pay. I'm a free to play, so I don't have the benefit of all the subscriptions. And I find the enjoyment of the game is learning how to assemble teams that work well together and to overcome challenges with those teams. And I'm kind of taking that approach with these manifestations. I realize right now, I'm on Reddit too. A lot of people are frustrated. They're like, these are impossible, these are hard, you have to have specific characters. A lot of it is the same reaction we had when the Astral Archives first released. You had to have certain characters with certain personalities in order to get the maximum score. And now, given like a year later or 2 years later, I'm not quite sure how long Astral Archives have been out. But now, Astral Archives, even the first ones, you can take some of the more overpowered characters now and waltz in and get all the rewards. So I'm hopeful that 6 months, a year from now, some of these, we're going to look back at these and go, man, these were so easy. I wish the current ones were more like the ones when they first came out. Or it could be like nowadays, the Astral Archives, maybe they realized the difficulty was very off-putting. And a lot of the current Astral Archives, in fact, let me get off that. I finally, now that I'm off work, yay, I'm off for 2 months, the benefits of being a teacher, but I finally got around to doing Main Story Part 3, and I went through, there's a campaign right now, so I got a lot of bonus stones for it. I toyed around a little bit with a few of the challenge modes, obviously. I did not get very high on that one, but which one was it? Was it the second one? Yes. The second one, I saw thunder and hammer and everything, and I'm like, oh, I got a thunder team for that, and sure enough, they did just fine. And there was another Astral Archive, was it the last one? I only got some results from that one. Oh, third one, I think it was, I used my crystal team. Yep. And while I didn't get every single reward, I had success. And when Astral Archives first came out a long time ago, with all the, must-have personality glasses or, must-like cats or something like that, they were difficult. And nowadays, I just did these basically over the span of 2 evenings. I capped out on one of them, and I got some rewards on most of the rest. So I'm hopeful that this whole system, we're going to look back and hopefully find it to be easier and more fun as time goes on. Hopefully. Who knows? It might just be a source of frustration that also takes people away from the game. I don't know. But as I said, I've never claimed to be a super, super hardcore expert on another Eden. I'm just a fan of the game. I happen to like making videos, and I happen to have gotten lucky enough to have most characters in some form or another. in the game, so that allows me to make all sorts of interesting combinations. I'm not nearly as skilled as some other YouTubers. Like I watch 77AE. If you don't follow him, you should probably look into doing so. He comes up with the most awesome creations for teams that blow my mind. And I don't think I'm that bad at coming up with team synergy. But he knows his stuff inside and out. And I really enjoy watching his channel. In fact, one of the manifestations, the Isuka one, it is May 24th right now. I've done multiple YouTube searches for the manifestation fights. And aside from 77AE, I have not seen anything pop up on YouTube. A few Redditors have linked their videos on Reddit, which I've watched. But pretty much, aside from this morning's, every single video involves Sesta AS and Shiguri ES. Now, I have one of them. I have Sesta, another style, and I have her Stellar Awakened. Not fully complete, but enough that I have all of her abilities at least, and I can get her to level 100. However, I also, let me just go do it this way, Katana Wind. I do have Shiguri ES. However, he is not Stellar Awakened. I am nowhere close to Stellar Awakening. I only have one All-Cosmos star chart, so it would not be until July at the earliest before I could Stellar Awaken him. And that's kind of assuming I want to, you know. There's other characters that I've been kind of wanting to Stellar Awaken for a while now. But his, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, Suri Kimbu. Apparently it does a tremendous amount of damage and has a link effect that adds more damage. And at the start of the fight, he gains a counterattack, a cover, and inflicts rage. And I tried to reproduce some of the fights with my Shiguri, who's not Stellar Awakened, and it's actually this ability that I'm lacking, because I can actually do the damage requirements for some of these fights. But then the enemy will attack. You know, once I blow the AF gauge and do all the damage, then the enemy attacks. If Shiguri was Stellar Awakened, I would have the cover and I would have the counterattack and I'd be able to dodge a lot of those attacks. Because I don't, he gets killed immediately, and then that pretty much wipes the team. So we'll see. Just lost my Sesta. There's Sesta.
Let's go.
This is my farming team right now. Most of them are leveling, and I'm running the snake liver place. I know that there's a spoiler alert. There's supposed to be a little beast symphony at some point this summer, and so I thought it'd be a good idea to maybe beef up Gildna's Shadow some, just in case he gets a Stellar Awakening from it. So we'll see. But anyway, so where was I going with this? I've already lost track of my line of thinking. Oh, 7-7. 7-7 just completed the Isuka challenge and did not have either Sesta or Shiguri. He used a few other characters, including Mazrika, and I don't have Mazrika, so that I was like, well, maybe I can find someone who can sub in. But anyway, people are much more skilled in this game than I am, are starting to figure out this manifestation situation and are starting to come up with teams that hopefully don't hinge on having two specific Stellar Awakened characters, because that's not fair to anyone that doesn't happen to have one, the other, both, or enough star charts to Stellar Awaken them. So, but anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. It's my summer vacation. It's my first day of it, a full day, and I stayed up kind of late, just kind of goofing off. Things I did offline. I didn't even try Hismena. I stuck with Isuka. You may have seen my previous video where I explored it. And I tried everything. I decided, you know what? Oh, that's cool. I guess these pledges are universal for all of them. Okay, well, that's good to know. Well, with Isuka, I have not You can see the history is grayed out. I have not beaten her challenge. Can't do it. I tried everything. I tried my wind team. I then tried fire team, because fire teams are strong against wind. And my fire team, if you saw the video recently where I was at Parallel Nagsham, my fire team pumped out like over 180 billion in damage in like one turn in the AF bar. They couldn't do it. I tried my Thunder team. I figured, well, maybe they can fill back up the AF gauge quick enough, and they couldn't do it. Now, I'm sure there's a few mechanics that I just have not wrapped my head around. And as time goes on, and as I keep playing with it, I figure I will. But after a few failed attempts, I switched to Hismena. Her standard, hard, and very hard difficulties were all pretty easy. I did happen to use Sesta AS on all of them. She chewed through all of them without much difficulty, but they didn't have huge health pools or anything like that, so I don't really think you need Sesta another style to defeat those. I think you could probably walk in with some of your best teams and be able to have success. Then we got to the challenge mode. And I looked at the pledges and everything, and I tried doing it, with a 4-person team. Didn't have enough firepower. Tried a few other things, and I'm like, you know what? We're going to take this step by step. We're just going to see if we can accomplish winning. I wasn't even concerned about getting the pledges done. I just wanted to get a win in. So, as you all know, one of my toughest, most survivable teams is my wind team. And I swapped Sesta instead of keeping her at normal style, which is what I normally do, so I can twin blade every single turn. I did switch to her another style, which was a little weird because I don't start the fight off in a wind zone anymore with her another style. I have to wait till turn 2 when Melody produces it. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to try and recreate this victory, at least if nothing else, to show you the first step, which is simply winning the fight. I figure if I can win the fight and even get, the clear bonus and everything, then perhaps like next week I can, when these reset, maybe I can do it again, get another 1,000 bravery manifests. Next week, do it again, get another 1,000, like baby steps. And what I did, because of the campaign and everything, I actually had about 9,000 of these, I don't even know what they're called. I don't want to exchange it. Whatever the little blue thingies are. So I had 9,000, and one of the things you could buy was the item that lets you basically raise your manifest weapon by 1 level. So I figured I'm probably not going to beat Isuka's anytime soon. So there's no chance of me leveling her up to level 11 before the next reset. And when I do finally beat her, I will get 2,000, that's what they're called, bravery manifests. And that will put me over 5,000, and I can, next week when No Pal restocks his stuff, I can walk over, and whenever I beat her manifest, I can walk over, get the item, the rainbow thingy that breaks this to level 11, and then everything will be good. Assuming he restocks that item weekly. I actually did not pay that close of attention. It was pretty late in the evening. And at some point he's going to restock. And with only 2 manifests right now, 1 I have completed, and you'll see it has the little crown symbol again, and that is now currently level 11, which, if I understand right, once you get back to level 11, which I'm not crazy about, I worked very hard to get a lot of my manifests to level 11 just to watch them go back down to level 10. They could have just done a level 12. I mean, really. But anyway, now that this is maxed out at level 11, I think I get the power, speed, possibly these ability slots all active whether or not she is equipped with the mystery. Haven't quite really explored it that much, but because nowadays we pretty much use Elpis gear all the time. You know, I don't really want to go back to using manifest weapons for an extra like 50 power, but lose the overthrow from Elpis, as one example. Alright, well, I've rambled long enough. Bottom line, we're going to take baby steps with this. I am going to attempt to show you how I beat it, and hopefully I can do it within 10 turns again, so I can show you what I did to at least get you started. So, alright, on that note, what was the team? They wind, Toa. You know, it does not show the gear, the gear in Grasta at least. So, alright, let me pause the recording here and set up the team the way I think I had it. And let's see if we can do it again. Okay, I'm back.
We can be cute.
So my thought process, Melody will deploy a wind zone at the end of the first turn. And Tsubame, because she's an alter characters have little extra perks. The wind zone will last 6 turns. So basically, after the first turn, I'll be fine with wind zone purposes. So I kind of geared with that in mind a little bit. So Sesta is the same as always. She does have the Awakened Fenrir proof. Tsubame has a couple of pains along with Enhance and if max HP Wind. So her health isn't quite as high as it normally is. Oh, I did give her the Elpis gloves. And let's go ahead, now that I'm thinking about it, let's give her 2000 HP badge. So she's a little more squishy than I'm used to with her. Melody is also mostly geared the same, except that she has 1 power of Agony staff. So she does a little bit of extra damage, but again, her main purpose there is to provide Wind Zone, Depravity, and debuffs, stuff like that. And Shani is geared as I always have her geared. Otoa is also geared the same as usual. And then we have Hismena. She is a water character, so she doesn't normally equip things that will help wind characters. In addition, she's a lance user, and none of the other characters are lance users. So I had to get a little creative on what to give her. I gave her Resonant Power Shadow, which you can do even though she's a light person, because 3 of the front row characters, Sesta, Tsubame, and Shani, are all shadow characters. So she is providing some improvement in damage, not quite 30%, but some. We have Power of Offense Wind, which apparently anyone can equip, so that improves the entire party's damage by 15%. And then I threw on Sound Body IDA. It just so happens she and Melody are both members of the IDA school. So I could have given her, like, instead of the Sound Body one, I could have given her the Almighty Power IDA, which would have improved Melody's damage a little bit. But again, I'm kind of sort of worried about survival purposes. Sidekicks, as usual, Tetra and Gunts. Tetra with the Soothing Bell. Gunts, it doesn't really matter because the second I blow the AF gauge, my team's stats are going to go up by 20%. So that was the team I used. Let's see if I can recreate what I did last night in 10 turns.
This is for my subjects.
Alright, on my first turn, I think I attacked Fierce Feline, Depravity, and Malediction. Just put the necessary pain on there, got the barriers going. She will counterattack and weaken the enemies.
Nice one.
And then
You gotta have teamwork.
Please, accept this.
Melody will go ahead and deploy the wind zone. And I got all of the ones done. All of the threes done. So now we're in a wind zone. I have a little bit more of the AF gauge to work with. So we are going to target the healer. Healers must die first. We're going to do 1, 2, 2, and then all ones. And then when we fill this up, we're going to burst as well. So 1, 2, 2, 1, and burst. 1, 2, 2, whoops. Alright, I'm just kind of watching the stellar burst gauge. Alright, we are going to Wolfheart Release, Injaku, and Toadstream.
Eagle, growl, and pounce! Sever, take this.
We can actually see Claude taking some damage now. Now, in the challenge mode, he'll get down to 20-some percent or 10%, and then he won't take any more damage. So if we can, we'll switch to the next character. Remember, this is still turn 2. And we'll go ahead and kind of rebuff.
I'll show you the power of a king.
Want to see what a battle expert can do? Try to control the battle.
Some of this is luck-based, because it's very possible, you know, that Tsubame could have been defeated at that point.
Accept this.
So now we have a pretty powerful wind zone. We are on turn number 3. Twin blade time for sure. Injaku. We're going to Depravity again. Get that barrier going. And we are going to Toadstream. So Sesta is strong enough. She knocked out Claude. And she knocked out Isuka, leaving just Hismena. Hismena does destroy the wind zone, even though it's awakened. So now we are on turn 4. She's also cleared her debuffs, which means we definitely have to get Depravity going again for the pain. So we do have a bar to work with. And we are close to another Stellar Burst, and we need the Wind Zone. So, 1, we'll redo Fierce Feline. Actually, yeah, we'll do Fierce Feline. Depravity, Malediction, and we'll spam 1s until we can burst. So we're going to do 1, 3, 3, 3, and then all 1s. 1, 3, 3, 3, all 1s. There, we can burst. Wolfheart Release allows us to activate Twin Blade Wolf without consuming them. Injaku, we can get our Wind Zone back down, and Toadstream. And then we will continue to spam 1s, now in a Wind Zone. We got one more Twin Blade Wolf in there. And it looks like we may have finished up that fight, so just to be on the safe side, because I forget how it went, but I worked in a second, or I guess technically a third Twin Blade Wolf in that burst. I used Wolfheart's Release for one, and then I made sure to switch over when the combo rate was a little higher, and did a Twin Blade Wolf after the Wolfheart Release. But that was, what, turn number 4? So I beat the boss in 4 turns. Ooh, I guess last time someone must have gotten knocked out. Sweet. Okay. But that was how I did it with 3 or more wind water allies win within 10 turns. I did it in 4. And as I said, there was a little bit of randomness. It was possible when Tsubame took that 5,000 hit, she was down to about 1,000 health left. If the others had attacked her as well, that would have been an issue. But in this case, apparently it was not, and no one got knocked out. So again, baby steps. The first goal of a new challenge is simply to win it. It's not necessarily to get all of the achievements done right away. In fact, it's usually really difficult to do, to be that successful on the first try. I am not that successful. But, as I said, baby steps. I got another Bravery Manifest, 1,000 stones, which means now, thanks to the campaign and just clearing it, I have 5,000, which means when he restocks that rainbow thing, I can level break the Innocence if I really wanted to, or I could just hold on to it for whatever future weapons come out. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That is the team I used to get now apparently 2 of the 3 achievements. So the next step for me is to figure out how to do it with 4 or fewer allies, which you saw how important all 4 of them were. Shaney definitely tanked a lot of the damage, and that seems to be Shiguri ES's main role too, to either tank it or to draw the damage to him just so he can dodge it. With just 4 or fewer allies, that means Hismena has to be in the front line. So who do I get rid of? It's not going to be Sesta. It's probably not going to be Tsubame. She does many multiple hits, especially with her copy, so she's able to get the AF gauge back up pretty quickly. I need some type of a tank, so it's probably going to have to be Melody, which I don't like because Melody sets pain. She gives me the damage barriers, and she automatically recasts Wind Zone for me and heals the team and provides them with mana regen. Hismena does none of that. So, as I said, I'm good at figuring out teams. I'm not quite as good as some YouTubers, but baby steps, we'll get it figured out eventually. Maybe one of the next banner characters that they're planning to release will take the place of one of these characters. You never know. So, what's this? Oh, cool. So I have 2 total wins. The first was at 5:39 UTC, and now it's, let's see, that's about 5 hours off of me, so that was right after midnight my time. And now this is right around noon. This is 12:30 my time. So, okay, well, anyway, I hope this helps. I hope, if nothing else, maybe this gives you hope that eventually we're going to get this figured out, and it will be okay in the long run. So, with that said, Casual Crono, signing out.